This is Mersey News Live and I'm Daniel Zambartas with the news. Our top headlines today. The River Mersey is now home to over 30 species of fish. LGMU policing students have been put through their paces at emergency services training in Birkenhead. The River Mersey has undergone a miraculous transformation, with fishermen reporting 45 species of fish now flourishing. This comes as a positive change, as the river was once labelled the most polluted in Western Europe. Tom Watkins reports.
The River Mersey has been described as the greatest river recovery in Europe, after a record 45 species were found in 2023. This made it one of the most diverse habitats for fish across the continent. The numbers have increased dramatically over the past 20 years, with large investment being made by local authorities and water companies into reducing the pollution levels of the river, making the river a popular place for anglers to fish once again.
Are seeing fish coming back. So if we go back to the mid-90s, there was hardly any fish at all left in any of our rivers. They're pretty much wiped out because of the Industrial Revolution and the issues we talked about earlier. Slowly but surely, those numbers are coming back in terms of the numbers of species. And the estuary is the first place we've seen those improvements more so than anywhere else, because that's where the fish can generally repopulate much easier.
It marks a stark change to the days when the river was known as the Dirty Mersey, with the phrase being coined during the Industrial Revolution of the late 1960s. Merseyside was then home to various different industries who all poured their effluent into the river.
Social challenges around Liverpool at the time was the fact that the river environment was so poorly, was such poor quality, and that was contributing to social unrest, and people weren't, the environment wasn't being cared for, in effect.
Whilst the River Mersey has seen a great transformation, across the country there are many areas that are now not accessible due to the levels of pollution present. The government hopes to improve the majority of rivers by 2035, but calls have been made by many for quicker action due to this issue becoming ever worse. Tom Watkins, Mersey Focus.
From facing fires to firearms, the next generation of Merseyside police officers have been put through their paces at the Emergency Services Training Centre in Birkenhead, with LGMU policing students getting a real taste of frontline duties. George Morris has more.
Level 6 policing students from LGMU have been given a flavour of what to expect in their career. The students were put under pressure to see how they would react under life-threatening incidents. Here, they can be seen trying to save the life of an individual suffering from a gunshot wound.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to put some classroom work in, classroom learning into practice. So we've been through some issues around critical and major incidents, which would be the firearm scenario and the first aid teach that we're doing. But it's very much what's your decision, how did you come to that decision, and when you reflect on it afterwards, was it the right thing to do?
By putting classwork into action, as police officers are usually the first responders on the scene, fire simulations are to advise students on the best course of action. There were 2 rooms, one where students learn how to preserve forensic evidence, and another where students learn how to tackle a blaze using a high-pressure hose. Susan Davidson, crime scene investigator for Cheshire Police, was on standby to support the students and provide with guidance when necessary. There was also a confined space recovery scenario.
So this is where the body would have been, and they would have dragged it out on a stretcher. The students would have come down from here, right, and have to exit either here in emergencies, but they've got to drag out the stretcher, back down there and out underneath.
The challenges today is maybe their little lack of knowledge yet, but then that's the beauty of today, because we can enhance those challenges and support them with them.
As part of the informal assessment, we were encouraged to test the students' capabilities in handling the press. Our goal was to get as personal as possible and push the boundaries as journalists by attempting to interview witnesses and snapshots of the casualties. George Morris, Mersey News Live.
Deliveroo, Uber Eats and Just Eats are due to strike on Valentine's Day for better pay and working conditions. The action is part of a national campaign which will begin at 5 p.m. and continue for 6 hours throughout the evening. So, if you're expecting a Valentine's Day takeaway tomorrow, then you may be out of luck. It's as simple as a COVID test. That's the message from the Sexual Health Clinic Access and the Liverpool charity Sahir House as they campaign to remove the stigma of HIV testing. For the first time, you can take an oral swab in the comfort of your home. Kate Farley attended the event to mark the launch of the new scheme.
There are currently around 873 people in Liverpool living with HIV. This number has been rising since 2021, and the Council on Health Services are urging everyone to get tested. Research from Newfoundland Diagnostics highlighted that 73% of heterosexual Brits don't believe they need to be tested. So here, an LGBT charity in Merseyside are trying to break the stigma around HIV and aim to educate and urge people to test.
For so long it was considered to be a transmission that only happened amongst gay people and people who had MSM population. So it's a big important thing to sort of explain to younger people and older people who identify as heterosexual that HIV doesn't discriminate.
New oral tests mean you can find out in the comforts of your own home your HIV status. Access Sexual Health in Liverpool have set up services to support people with HIV and help prevent the spread of infection.
Anyone that comes to our clinics for a straightforward screening and for contraception. So it's part of the health package that we provide for anyone that uses our services.
Drag artists across the region met up to discuss why testing is so important.
If you know your status, you know how to prevent it getting spread, because undetectable means untransmittable and all that.
The sooner you know, the sooner you're able to get help, find a support system and find people around you.
It's for your own safety and your own health, and also you need to know in case you're engaging with activity with other people, just to make sure you're not putting them at risk.
Kate Farley, MerseyNewsLive.
Staff at body shop stores across the northwest face an uncertain future as the popular health and beauty stores goes into administration. Today, the directors of the Body Shop have appointed Tony Wright, Jeff Rowley and Alistair Massey of business advisory firms as joint administrators of the company. The Body Shop has stated it will remain guided by its ambition to be a modern and dynamic beauty brand. The Liverpool street artist Paul Curtis is auctioning 2 of his murals, with the proceeds going to local charities. The award-winning painter is currently exhibiting his work at the Royal Liver Building. Sadie Gilbert has more.
February half-term sees the Liver Building hosting a very exciting exhibition.
Paul Curtis's first indoor street art exhibition. It's showcasing 50 of his favourite murals that he's done in and around Liverpool.
Curator and arts producer Laura McCann helped Paul make his idea come to life.
Such an amazing space. It's an iconic building, obviously. To be here feels it feels like coming home in a way, because the first piece I ever did of street art was the Liver Bird wings. So it's almost like things have gone full circle.
Some of the faces of Paul's artwork were present at the opening night.
I suppose it's proud. It sort of means something. It's a bragging point. The mural's amazing. I like it at this size better though, because the real mural's massive and my head looks huge.
It's actually amazing. I've never been in an exhibition before. I mean, yes, I've had a lot of pictures taken, and I've been painted before, but I've never been in an exhibition. So yeah, I'm actually quite shocked about that. See myself there.
The exhibition is running from the 9th to the 23rd of February, with free entry and even some painting sessions with Paul available.
And here's Jessica McGilvery with the sport.
Thanks, Dan. 17-year-old Luke Littler hit a 9-dart finish on his debut at the Players' Championship and won against fellow Englishman Ryan Searle in a nail-biting final. Littler achieved his first ranking title and took home the £15,000 winner's prize. The young star from St Helens Darts Academy is now set to be banned from the PDC Development Tour after he jumped up to 31st in the Order of Merit, making him ineligible to enter the competition. Former England striker Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer have described Everton's Premier League points deduction as a mess. Both former players spoke out on the Rest is Football podcast against the heaviest sports sanction in the 135-year history of English football. Former England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson is set to join the management team for Liverpool's charity match against Ajax. Eriksson was given around a year to live after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in January. Having stated that he had dreamed of managing the Reds in his career, he'll now have his chance to take to the touchline at Anfield on March 23rd. Tranmere Rovers are looking to push up the table as they play Morecambe tonight. The Birkenhead team sit 18th in League 2 and can move up within 3 points of 12th place Morecambe with a win at Prenton Park. The Women's FA Cup draw took place yesterday with Everton drawn against current champions Chelsea. It followed a comprehensive 7-1 win for the Toffees against Nottingham Forest in the 5th round. Liverpool were also in the draw and will face Leicester at home on the 10th of March. And Scouse icons Paddy the Baddy and Jamie Webster have announced they are teaming up to host the Boss podcast. The podcast will be about all things Liverpool FC and will be released weekly on YouTube. The first episode will be available next week. That's it from the sports desk. Back to you, Dan.
Now for the weather. There will be a wet start to the evening, with temperatures set to be above average. But finally, Liverpool's traditional Pancake Day race took place today at the gardens of the Liverpool Parish Church. Chefs from top restaurants in the city had their pancake flipping skills put to the test. Thea Graham attended the event.
Liverpool's annual Pancake Tuesday race has been around since the 1980s. It takes place in the parish church held by Liverpool BID Company. Anyone is welcome to compete in the Shrove Tuesday race, however, it mostly attracts Liverpool-based chefs.
Fantastic event, as you saw. It really brings in the chefs and it's a bit of fun before Lent, which is the important bit.
Alex Hopkins from Liverpool Lunya Lida was crowned the winner for a 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, never lost.
I've been Thea Graham, reporting for MerseyNewsLive.
So, that's it for now. I'm off to get my frying pan out. But for more on these stories, head to Mersey News Live. And don't forget to tune in to our Valentine's Day special podcast with Sadie Gilbert and George McHugh, bringing you the juiciest relationship drama. Stay romantic. Good night.